I like Genie because it's so tailored to the biotech industry. I like Genie because it's so tailored to the rail industry. Each person using it thought that it had been built for them, but what's incredible is that it's the same product that they're all using. They clearly had the light bulb moment long before the rest of us had it, and so now there's a whole new line of productivity open from both sides because of Genie. I first met Rafi and Nitish a number of years ago. At the time, they were some of the earliest founders to be working in legal tech. And the thing that was most interesting to me actually was that they had spent a huge amount of time understanding legal workflows, how lawyers think, how lawyers behave, how lawyers work. And on the other side of it, what consumers of legal services, clients, care about, what their sticking points are, and how to bridge that gap using technology. And they had really deep and developed and opinionated views on how to do that. And I found that really appealing. And so just given my background as a former lawyer, it was an obvious place for us both to spend time, and we got to know each other over a number of years. So my name is Vidu. I am a partner at GV, which is Alphabet's investment firm. When I first met them, the product was targeted more towards law firms. Actually, one of the things I said to them quite early on is that this is something that could be used very broadly. Whilst they were targeting a slightly different cohort of users at the time, it was possible to use the product for anyone creating legal contracts or using legal services. That actually hasn't changed in all that time. And I think that's the thing that I've enjoyed the most about getting to know Rafi and Nitish has been consistent throughout, in that it's a relentless North Star on giving people a sort of game-changing experience in creating legal contracts and for businesses to transact in legal in a much more efficient way. What initially attracted me to invest in Genie was, first and foremost, the team. Having such a deeply user-centric, product-orientated team operating in the legal space is extremely rare. There are hardly any. And then from a product perspective, it's a brilliant combination of just an extremely seamless and simple user experience, but that is enabled by an immense amount of nuance and depth in the product. And so the thing that I've always been really impressed with is how quickly you can go from landing on Genie to having a tailored, customized legal agreement. I actually did it by accident the first time I landed on the product. I was like, oh, what's this? And the next thing I know, I had a contract. I didn't know what to use it for. I didn't need a contract, but I had one. And I was like, well, if that's happened to me, that can happen for anyone. And I think that was, at the moment that happened, I thought, right, this is something that's really exciting and I'd love to find a way to get involved. 2 minutes before speaking to Rafi and Nitish, despite all the hours I spent thinking about the category, if you'd have asked me, is that possible? I'd have said no. And then 2 minutes into the conversation with Rafi and Nitish, you realise, wow, it is possible and they're actually doing it. So Genie's mission of allowing everyone to create trustworthy legal contracts is one of the most important things about the company. I think the law is just a fundamental operant of modern society. You need a developed legal system for people and businesses to transact. The way that's codified is through a contract. That is, at the moment, or at least until Genie's product was released to the masses, kept behind a wall of access to only those people who could afford legal advice. I'm yet to speak to a small business owner or a startup or even some larger companies where dealing with legal contracts isn't a problem. And so the ability to democratize the access to high quality legal agreements, to allow people to get on with the important work of conducting business. If you think about it, you're more likely to do a new deal with someone or transact with someone if you can do it in a trust-based way using a contract. And the best products that we see and the best services that we see open up access and create a new behavior in people. And I think what's most exciting about Genie, when I spoke to a lot of the users, it actually came through us. We weren't sure that we were going to do this transaction because the transactional cost and the frictional cost and the time it would take to appoint lawyers would mean that it may not make sense for us to do it. But with Genie, that all goes away. And so now there's a whole new sort of line of productivity open from both sides because of Genie.